Hey folks, and welcome to this episode of The Grow Show. Now, The Grow Show is here to help you grow yourself, grow your business, and grow your community. And today's guest is the fantastic Rebecca Pay from Pay for Precision. I got it right. So welcome to the show, Rebecca. And how are you doing today? You all right?
I'm good, thanks. Although, even though we are in June when we're recording this, it's quite cold and it's pouring with rain. So I'm not particularly happy because I am working from a camper van and it's quite chilly in here.
I know exactly what you mean. Just before this, I took the dog out for a walk and had to put my winter jacket on. It's June. It's June.
Crazy.
What is happening? But it's been a crazy time, over the last 10 or 12 weeks. So everybody's business has kind of changed. Tell us a bit about yours pre-COVID before we get into COVID. So how did you get into proofreading and copywriting?
Funnily enough, I've actually been doing it for about 6 years, my business, which is quite a long time actually, isn't it? And when I looked at the dates, I was quite surprised by that. But I started when my daughter was a baby, and she's going to be 7 in September, because I basically wanted to stay at home and look after her, and I didn't want to have to go back out to work and pay someone else to look after her. And so I thought, what can I do? I had a friend who'd done some copywriting, and I think her sister had been doing proofreading, and she'd started it as a business, and I thought, oh, okay. I didn't even kind of really realize that was a business in a way. I sort of hadn't thought about it. And I've got a background that I work for a newspaper. I've done like paid book reviews and stuff of my time. And I worked in recruitment and advertising and for a council. And I had like proofreading experience and some copywriting training for advertising work and stuff. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll just start doing a little bit of proofreading work here and there for people, see if I could make a little bit of money out of it. And I just basically came up with a name and launched it and just started from there, really. It just started really tiny, just bits and bobs. It was kind of like enough money so I could stay at home and not go back out to work. And it's grown from there, really. And then I've sort of grown into the copywriting more over the last couple of years because I realised that's the side of it I really, really enjoy. I'm really good at the proofreading as well, but I've actually got someone that kind of does a lot of my academic proofreading now because that was never my favourite bit. But now I pay someone else to do it for me, so my business still offers that service. So yeah, it's kind of grown from there, and it's been good. I do quite a lot of CVs and blogs. They're kind of my probably 2 main things that I do. Quite well known on LinkedIn for doing CVs and stuff. So that's kind of my preferred social media platform, I would say.
Well, we'll go into that a little bit later on because you are an absolute demon on LinkedIn, and I'd like you to share some of your top secrets if that's okay for people on the podcast. But it's really cool to kind of hear your story that you started off as literally just a way of you spending more time at home and spending time with your daughter. And that's fantastic because the one thing that a lot of people kind of do if they're in that position is they'll look to maybe outside agencies like multi-level marketing companies. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, to be able to kind of help that. But you actually took your skills and your experiences and turned it into a business. Was that a bit scary at the time, or how did you find that kind of transition?
It was a bit weird because I think I remember the first time someone paid me to do some work, and it was like, wow, I'm getting paid to do like stuff that I can do, like, and it's all my own money. Like, I can keep this money. I don't have to give it to someone else, and there's no one telling me what to do. And I think that can be a bit daunting because also I went into it with no like proper business experience. I haven't ever run my own business before or anything. But you do a lot of learning on the job, so to speak, don't you? It's a big learning curve running your own business, and you learn a lot just by going through the experiences. I think, like, to do with like invoicing and people paying on time or not paying, and that whole thing, and just how you market yourself and how you deal with all of it. There's so much to learn, but I think sometimes the best way is just to get on and try it and do it.
True, and I love that because you're right. Nobody really goes into business for themselves to do all that stuff. They go into it because they like to do a certain area. For me, I love to tell people stories, so I love that side of it. Do I like accounts? No. Do I like chasing payments? No, of course not. You have to do it though, unless you outsource it. And you're dead right. You have to learn a hell of a lot. Was it always on the cards to start your own business?
It's funny, I don't think I'd ever really thought about it. Okay. And actually, I think it suits me down to the ground because I hate being told what to do. I never did in jobs. I've always done really, really well in jobs. Clients and customers always absolutely love me. But then I wouldn't get on very well with the management necessarily, because I would sort of say things how they were. I might be a bit like outspoken in meetings and things, stand up for colleagues and stuff. And management don't necessarily like that sort of thing. They want you to kind of toe the line and be quiet. And I was never any good at that. And I didn't really like the kind of 9 to 5 type thing either, of having to go in and do sort of the same thing, the same hours every day. So the lifestyle thing of running your own business has become like a real lifestyle choice for me, really, because then I can be totally flexible. If I want a day off in the middle of the week, I can have one. I can just work my business around that. I can work when I need to, and that's been really important to me, and that's why I've never wanted to grow really quickly in the beginning. I did it slowly so I could still be around for the kids, because that was the point. Because obviously since I've had a son as well, so I've got 2 children now, he'll be starting school in September, so then I'll have a little bit more time when they're both at school. But it's always been important to kind of work it around that and not work every hour, because although I think some people think that to build your own business you have to work every single hour, you have to work long nights, weekends, and I'm not saying that never happens, but I do think it's possible to do it differently. I don't think you have to do it like that.
No, I'm nodding my head, because I go through stages of mad intensity where I'm working 12 to 16 hours a day, and you can only do that for a certain amount of time before your mind, your body just says no, you can't do that.
See, I never do that, Gary. I refuse to work super long days. I
never
have, and I never will.
And that was me for the first, 18 months of my business. The last 18 months of my business, completely different. And over the last 12 weeks, and we'll go into kind of the last 12 weeks a little bit more in a bit, but for me, I've taken the foot off even more. And I've just got more time that I spend with my family. I'm still intense when I'm working, but I'm tend to work in between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And then my day's done, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm getting the same amount done, same amount of money coming in as I would be doing 9 till 5:30, kind of standard hours. But it's working. So I'm now in the mindset to go fast, you need to go slow. And you need to have that kind of side to it sorted. But yeah, the mad intensity you can only do for such amount of time. You say you don't do it now. Was there ever a time in your life where you did that intensity?
Yeah, different. I mean, when I worked in advertising, it's all deadline based, obviously. When I worked for an ad agency, and we were based in Slough actually, but it was like a big London agency, and we just had a branch in Slough. So I had to commute from Reading to Slough every day, there and back, obviously on the train. It was kind of more traditional type of thing. Obviously, I had kind of set hours, but then we always stayed late when the deadlines were there. You had to stay late until stuff was done. If someone was away, you were covering their accounts. You just had, there's no passing it over. You had to get it all done. Right. There's, deadlines don't get extended for newspapers and stuff. Generally, it's all pretty set. So that was, there'd be periods of that time where it was super intense, and then you have really like big downtimes as well. Like at Christmas, there'd be nothing or whatever. You'd be sitting around doing crosswords or going to the pub. So there's quite a big social side in advertising, or there was then, probably still is.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a different type of like working environment. I mean, I work with deadlines now, but a lot of them are kind of set by me and the client together, so it's a bit different.
That's good. It sounds like you've got the balance, and that's what a lot of businesses haven't got, which is really nice to hear. Really, really nice to hear. So over the last 12 weeks, there's a big elephant in the room is obviously COVID-19. We're recording this on the 18th of June. It's going out on the 20th of July. So things could change between now and then.
They're changing all the time, so who knows?
This is it. And hence why I put the time and date in there, because you just never know what's going to happen. But how's it been for you and your business? You're saying that a lot of people, mostly businesses from CVs and blogging, has that kind of gone up? Has that gone down? How's your kind of industry and how's your business kind of fared?
Yeah, it's been quite mad actually. Because March was when it kind of all started, that was my biggest ever month. And I was like, wow, mad. But then I thought, oh, okay, but the beginning of March was kind of before it started. You know, maybe it's just kind of a fluke or whatever. And I was just peaking at the right time. That was when my marketing was peaking for everything. And so April was a bit of a dip slightly, because I think a lot of people kind of, when the lockdown first started, a lot of people kind of freaked out, didn't they? And no one really spent money and no one did anything.
Knee-jerk reactions everywhere.
Yeah. So it wasn't a bad month by any terms. It was kind of an average month. But then May went absolutely mad and blew March out of the water, and kind of doubled what my previous kind of average was. And I was like, what's happening here? And then this month's set to be probably on par with May, if not bigger. So it has been really busy. So I've got someone that does a lot of work for me now. And I've got a VA now. I've got an accountant. I've been kind of forced into outsourcing stuff. And thinking about my processes a lot more, and like, what can I automate? How do I do things? Like, I just automatically do stuff, but then I have had to sit down and think, well, how do I put a CV together? What's the process from the client contacting me to me sending them the draft, and like what actually happens? And like my VA said, you know, it's really important to obviously take note of all those processes, because if something happened to you and someone else has to step in or something, like, you know, what are those processes and which bits of it can you give to other people to save time so that you can focus on the bits you need to be doing. And I found one of my things that I've really realized that I love doing is all the marketing side of it, like the LinkedIn posts and the videos and stuff. I love doing that. So that's something that maybe a lot of people might outsource. It's something that I really want to focus on, because that's the thing I really like doing. And obviously I love onboarding the clients and dealing with them as well. So I want to keep those bits and then kind of get rid of some of the other bits. But so I've been probably, because I've got 2 young children, so it's been quite difficult, because we've been locked down and they've been off school and stuff. They've just gone back this week. It has been quite testing at times, shall we say, without much of a break. Hence why I'm working in a camper van. Obviously anyone watching on a video could see that. I'm in a Mazda Bongo, and I've got my internet and electricity set up so I can work in here all day if I need to, because my husband's on furlough. That came at the right time for me. But so I have worked solidly most days, but I've still only done probably 5 hours days, maybe 6 hours at times. So I think it's surprised me that I've made so much money without having to put in like crazy long days and stuff. I guess I've been lucky, in inverted commas lucky, that, you know, CVs have been needed by people that have been out of work and stuff. But a lot of the CV people are just people sitting down, having more time and thinking, that's something I need to sort out. And the same with blogs. You know, businesses have been sat around looking at their business and thinking, well, what bits do we need to sort out? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, actually we do need some blogs.
Do you know what? I completely 100% agree with you there. That one kind of things, look, kind of reassess this in there. List of like blogs, like videos, podcasts, all of that kind of stuff that it might have been to send it out to people like yourself who can check it out and make sure that it is absolutely spot on. I'm sure it's the same people on furlough with CVs. You know, they might have wanted to actually update their CV beforehand, but they haven't done already. So that's all good. And I'm glad you said lucky in inverted commas, because I don't think it's lucky at all.
No, I know. And actually, I have to.
So when you went kind of lucky,
I know. I try and edit myself when I say it now, because I think we can be prone to saying that. Oh, I got lucky with this or that, but actually, it clearly doesn't come from that. It comes from hard work and building things up over years and stuff.
That's it. You've got 6 years of kind of your marketing. You've got 6 years of client testimonials. You've got 6 years of experience. You've got the processes that you put in place to kind of stop you doing everything. You've outsourced it to different people. One of those bits alone would help a particular type of business, but you've got all of those together. So I don't think it's luck at all. Really don't. Really don't. In terms of the blogging and CVs, the main audience for this podcast and video are business owners. So let's talk about blogging, if you don't mind, for a little bit.
Yeah.
So when you get a blog in, is there some kind of common things that you see straight away on some blogs that you think this business owner can solve this really quickly? Or is every blog slightly different in terms of the issues that you find with them?
Well, what I do, I offer a blog writing service anyway, so I'll write the blogs. I do edit blogs as well. I kind of do a bit of both. And obviously people that send them to be edited, sometimes I find it quite easily, like naturally, just to be able to make it flow better. I would sort of kind of say that I make content that people actually want to read, so I make it sound better, basically, and obviously there are technical ways of doing it, but like some of the things I try and break it down is like thinking about not using the same word twice in the same sentence, or even two sentences running. Like obviously if it's your main keyword that you're talking about, that's fine, but just people sometimes use this exact same adjective like next to each other virtually, and it just sounds better to use different ones, like mix up the word you're using. And also when you're reading it through to check it, apart from the obvious proofreading you need to do for grammar and spelling, more so you need to read it out loud and just see how it sounds, like how it flows, because blogs especially need to sound like it's coming from the person. It needs to be quite a friendly, like informal way of getting information across. That's what people want from it, because if it's kind of really boring and over the top form, or people are going to get past the first paragraph and then just give up. So you need to kind of make it sound like something people might actually want to read.
Makes sense. It makes sense, especially if you're offering a copywriting blog service as well. You need to get into their head, you need to get into their tone of voice and the words and the language that they use. So I suppose that's massively important as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, I always have a good chat with a blog client and talk about, what it is they need from their business, what they do and what they're about and stuff, and get to know the person, because that's the only way you can kind of gauge the tone of voice to use. But also it's really important to talk together, brainstorm the ideas for the blogs, because I don't know someone's business inside out, and the technical parts of someone's business. Like one of my clients is a construction client. I don't really know much about construction, funnily enough. So we came up with the ideas together, but a lot of the things I can obviously research and stuff, but some of the ideas might not be so obvious anyway, because it's about what your clients are Googling. Like, to help your SEO, obviously you want to have fresh content, and blogging is a good way to do that. Hence why we recommend businesses use blogs in the first place. But people get sometimes a bit bogged down and like, they kind of ramble on about their own services in a blog, which might have its place, but generally you want to be answering the questions that people are asking and that potential clients are asking, because then they'll Google, find your answer, and then lo and behold, they're on your website. And that's kind of what you want out of it, really. So I'll give the example of my construction client. One of the blog ideas we came up with was about VAT and about whether builders should pay VAT, because there's a lot of confusion around it, and people often assume, if builders not paying VAT, they're doing some kind of dodge, and they're a cowboy builder or whatever, which may not be the case, because of course, as I'm sure you know, VAT is just to do with the threshold of what your business revenue is, and it's got nothing to do with being dodgy or whatever. You have to pay VAT once you're over a certain threshold. And so we just basically explained that in this blog, and it's got them on the first page of Google for that particular thing, because obviously people were Googling, should my builder be paying VAT, basically. And obviously those are people that are looking for builders, because that's why they're looking into it in the first place. So therefore they are their potential target market. So sometimes it's not always thinking about the most obvious thing, it's just thinking about what are the kind of things that your clients are asking and what are they actually Googling.
I love it. And I'm smiling because I basically, when I'm talking to someone about creating content for their social media, for their videos, podcasts, whatever it is, the first question I ask them is, what are you talking to your customers about? What are they talking to you about? What are they doing? What worries have they got? What are they excited about? And that's where we form the basis of the content, because that's what they're, as you said, their engagement, they're searching, they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could be personal with some blogging as well, like especially if it's going on social media and stuff, because people want to get to know someone, especially small businesses. There's often one person running it. Getting to know someone through their content helps sell you, because it's the whole know, like, trust thing. It's almost a cliche now, but it works. That's what works. People get to know you through your content, and they get to like you and trust you, and then they want to do business with you when they need whatever you're offering. It doesn't always have to be about selling what you've got all the time.
Not at all. And let's talk about social media for a little bit, because you have been active on many different platforms over the years, and from my point of view, you've settled and you've on LinkedIn, and that's your kind of, is that your home base now? It seems
it is. It definitely is. I've kind of dabbled on all of them. I was even kind of on Instagram for a bit, which I found hateful, to be honest. But I think I'm just too old for Instagram. I don't get it. But yeah, and I like Twitter. I think Twitter had its day in a way, but Facebook I've kind of always been on, because it's good to be around. I think the groups are particularly good on Facebook. But when I've discovered LinkedIn, last March I decided to start using LinkedIn properly. I thought, someone, I can't remember who, but someone had said, LinkedIn's a place to be for your business. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. I didn't really know what I was doing. Scrambled about, just put a few posts on. I thought, what is all this? I came across a couple of people on there that do know what they're doing. Got some really good help and free kind of mentoring in a way, I guess, but just there's loads of people on there that are like that I try and do for other people now, that will help you out if you're not sure how to do it and what you should be doing, and kind of got a grasp of it. And actually I've just fallen in love with it. I think LinkedIn's the best platform by far for me. I really, really enjoy it.
So how do you use LinkedIn on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I post at least once a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times, but no more than that. My branding is ice cream, which is a bit weird, but I really like ice cream, so I guess it's not that weird.
I say not weird because you like ice cream. It makes sense.
Well, yeah. It started because originally I started posting a few ice cream selfies because last summer was quite hot and I was at the park with my kids getting ice cream all the time, and so it just became a thing that I got associated with. So I kind of ran with it. So I'll just talk about all sorts of things on there. Obviously, sometimes I talk about business stuff, as in relating to my own business, but often it's just about things that are happening in my life, or how are you getting on with the kids, or something that's happened in business, like how do you deal with this, if this happened, what would you do? I just post about all sorts of things, really, and I've just built up quite a decent audience on there now of I think I've got about 12,500 followers. I get really good engagement on my posts, and I get loads of leads, so which is at the end of the day what counts, isn't it? Because followers are great, but if no one's actually becoming a client, it doesn't matter. So I get probably an average of 3 leads a day at the moment, and it was before COVID, it was up to about 5 leads a day, but I guess maybe some of those were less serious people. I think now the leads tend to be almost more qualified, like people are more serious and they're kind of hotter leads. So I think if people are inquiring now, they tend to be more serious about what they're doing and get on with it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty good going, really, organic.
Yeah. In terms of organic reach on a one single platform, hell yeah, definitely. But it's testament to what you put out there. The content that you're putting out there is relevant to you because it shows you in a professional, good light. You're talking to people. And I'm guessing, I haven't checked my bad as I haven't checked. But are you throwing out articles and videos out there as well?
Yeah,
Posts?
I've got a few articles on there. I don't do many articles. They don't actually get a very good reach on there. LinkedIn doesn't seem to like articles for some reason. I like using them now and again because for me, obviously, it showcases my copywriting, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it's good to be able to be a bit more in depth on some subjects. But I do videos on there fairly regularly. Videos do quite well. I mean, it's quite saturated with video content, so I think you have to kind of pick and choose and not overdo it. But I think if you're okay on video, it's a a good way to do it. As I'm sure you'd say, you wouldn't advocate everybody doing video just for the sake of it.
I would say
some people are so wooden and awkward on video. It's like, no, you shouldn't have done that.
No, you've got to play to your strengths, and you've got to play to your audience's strengths as well. So if your audience doesn't engage with video, I don't recommend you do video.
Absolutely.
If they're readers, you do blogs, you do ebooks. If they listen to podcasts, you do podcasts. If they watch videos, you do videos. You play to them. But then also, you've got to take into account, as you said, if you're wooden or you've got no personality or you hate video or you hate writing, it's going to come across if you write something or if you do something and you hate it. So, yeah, I completely agree in that respect. For me, it's about putting the customer there first. And the business owner then doesn't have to change, but I'd say they probably resonate more if they start engaging with their customers on the platforms where their customers are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my clients are on LinkedIn generally, so
perfect.
That's why the CVs kind of took off, just because that's obviously a really good place, because it was traditionally used for job searching.
That's what it was there for. Yeah.
Obviously a lot of people still use it for that. And so many people are on there now. It's like something crazy, like 700 million users or something stupid. It has gone massive.
Yeah, and the last 12 weeks it's increased even more. So it is getting bigger and bigger all the time. And one bit I love about LinkedIn is that they are playing about with introducing different things as well, like live streaming, which will be great. So we'll see how that kind of goes as well. But they are playing about with different things in the background, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah, they are always kind of adapting and trying new things. One of the things I like on there as well is when you do, you can add, like, people could download them as PDFs, but they're kind of like the swipeable.
Yes.
I can't remember what you call them, like documents, I think they're called. If you upload a document, so it's kind of like almost like a little cartoon story. But you can put whatever you want on the slides, and then someone can download it as a PDF. But it's a really good way of putting information across. I need to spend more time making those, actually, because I think they come across really well. I really enjoy looking at other people's when they do them. So,
true. Well, let's talk about kind of the next, I don't know, let's say next 12 weeks. We spoke about what's happened over the last couple of months. Where do you think the industry and kind of your social media activity is going to kind of go over the next, I don't know, during the summer? So let's throw it out there, August, September time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think generally summer has always been quieter because people go on holiday and stuff. But this year is a bit different, isn't it? Because we don't even know if we're going to be able to go on holiday. So I don't think it will have the same lull that normally is. I think it'll be a bit different because a lot of people have been off work and are now restarting work, like if they've been on furlough. And there'll be also, probably for me, will help with CVs. There'll be a lot of people that lose their jobs, unfortunately. There's been a lot of redundancies talked about, which will start coming in. So I can see it being quite busy.
So pretty much the same as it has been, really.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there'll be some massive dip. Obviously depend on the industry, but even things like hospitality and stuff are going to start picking up as things start opening again. And I think there'll be some people trying to play catch up where they've been really quiet. And then they'll suddenly think, oh, I better start marketing again, which, of course, as we know, they should have been marketing the whole way through.
Yes.
Never stop marketing.
If I could, there was one main message that I was telling everybody who I was going to meet, who was meeting face to face via Zoom or in meetings, and that was, don't go quiet. Just don't go quiet. Keep your noise level. If not, increase it.
People will forget you.
They will, and especially as other people would have increased their noise. Even if you kept to the same level, you'd be losing track on those peeps. And your audiences just wanted to know what you were up to. That's all they want to do.
Exactly, and even people that couldn't work, like people, I've seen hairdressers doing posts with tips on how to cut your own hair and stuff like that. Because obviously they haven't been able to work and everything. And then there will be the hairdressers now when you're looking to book somewhere that you'll remember or whatever. It's those businesses that you'll remember, the restaurants that worked out how to home deliver and stuff.
Yeah,
or gave away loads of free recipes and stuff like that.
Well, that's it. I was talking to a business mentor, buddy of mine, and he said there's going to be two columns at the end of this: the winners and the losers. And the winners are the people who have proactively helped their community, engage with their community, whether that's creating content for them, creating products or services that help them in their needs. They've been doing that. But then also there's going to be a column full of, I hate to say it, losers who just haven't done it for whatever reason. It could be a technical ability, it could be a confidence, it could be any number of different reasons.
Yeah.
But there are going to be winners and losers. And there's going to be a slight gap in the middle. And it's those people in the middle who had the choice of doing which ones to do. It's a strange time. I realise I asked you a very loaded question because nobody knows the answers. So thank you for your insights on that.
We can guess.
As soon as I said it, I thought, is that a fair question to ask? Stuff that I've said it. Let's see where we go. So we've spoken for the last 20 minutes. So thank you very much for this really cool interview. Let's catch up again anyway. But before we do, before we end it, I just want to ask you two separate questions. First question is, and I ask all the guests this, is your final thought. So what would be your one big takeaway point that you want the listeners of this podcast or watchers of this video to take away from this whole kind of interview?
I would say just get yourself out there, but don't worry about being perfect. Because I think one of the things that maybe used to hold me back or has done occasionally, and it doesn't now, is the worry, so I'm a bit of a perfectionist at heart, is the worry that content won't be perfect. Obviously being a proofreader, it's difficult as well to put a content out there and realise there's a typo in it or whatever, and I obviously try not to do that. But you have to just go for it. Like, videos might not be perfect, it might not be a perfect background, you know, you might not have nailed the captions the way you wanted to or whatever, but just give it a go and put content out there, because it's better than nothing. Because if you wait around for the perfect time or the perfect amount of knowledge or whatever, you'll probably never do anything. And like you said, people around you will be flying past you because they'll have been doing it all. So that's my big thing. Like with blogs, a lot of people dither about doing a blog or whatever. Just get on, do it, start writing something. just make a start.
Brilliant. I love that, and I love it on so many levels. For the person who hasn't started blogging ever, but they've wanted to, how would you recommend them starting?
Just brainstorm some ideas of, like we were saying, about what your clients might be thinking, what they're asking. Like, think about what they ask you. Like, you know, everyone's got certain questions that come up that the clients always ask, and try and answer those. And just draft something. Just go for it. Just write something out there. Obviously, if you're really stuck, contact someone like me. But what I tend to do with blogging is there's certain times where you'll feel more creative about writing and other times you don't. So when you do feel like that, try and bang out a couple of blogs, like build up a bank of a few of them, so that when you need to put a blog out, you've got a couple to choose from. So you're not always putting yourself under pressure of like, oh God, you know, it's that date I said I was going to put a blog out, I haven't got anything ready. Because that's what I do for clients. I tend to sell it in packages, and then I try and get a few blogs done ahead of time, and so then they've got a bank of blogs to like work from, so that we're never kind of going, oh, have you got that latest blog yet, Rebecca? And I'm like, oh gosh, you know, the kids are off school ill or something, and I'm panicking. I don't want to be under that kind of pressure, so I always make sure they've got a few ready to go, so that it doesn't matter if they don't get any that week.
We are on exactly the same page, and I say that to all my video and podcast clients. And I had this conversation with someone earlier on, so bang on the money. Thank you so much.
No worries.
So if people wanted to find more info about you, where would they find you? Online, websites, you know, throw out any details that you want to.
Easiest to find me on LinkedIn, probably. I'm Rebecca Pay, so there aren't that many Rebecca Pays. My face is half a cartoon with an ice cream, so it's quite recognisable.
It's on brand. It's all good.
It is. Well, obviously on Facebook as well. And I'm Pay for Precision on Twitter and Instagram and stuff.
And also just shout out to your website, payforprecision.com as well. Just throw that out there. And also I'll put any links to those in the show notes for people to find out as well. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a cracking interview, and let's catch up again, hopefully in the October, November time, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, we can see if my predictions came true or whether business went through the floor.
That's exactly it. Let's kind of hold you accountable almost. No, I'm joking. But yeah, let's catch up then and see how it all goes. But Rebecca, thanks for your time today and take care. Cheers.
Thanks.